The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 786. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a life coach originally from San Francisco, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Leannah Lumauig. Leannah, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hey, Sheena, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm honored to be part of your community. Yeah, so I spent over a decade working in Silicon Valley for companies like Adobe, eBay, and PayPal, and I just realized that it wasn't the path for me after 10 years, and I changed my career, became a life coach, and now I am living in Bali, helping other women build meaningful and fulfilling lives and businesses.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Leannah, what's your cultural background?
Both my parents are Filipino, and they met in the States, so I grew up in the States, but now I live here in Bali, Indonesia.
Thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
It's a quote by Cynthia Ocelli. It's, "For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks and its insides come out and everything changes. To someone who doesn't understand growth, it would look like complete destruction."
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And, I like how you mentioned this because when it comes to healing and growing, it doesn't look pretty sometimes.
No,
it can look
super messy.
Yeah, it can get ugly, messy. Like, there's days where you want to quit, and we just have to realize, it's all part of the process. It's not linear. It's going to be like a wave. It's going to be up. Sometimes you're going to be down. But in the end, we know what the end result is, so we just keep moving forward and, learning to overcome all the obstacles that come in our way. So thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I used to think that, when you're confident, you don't care what people think. But I feel like it goes beyond that. I feel like confidence comes from being compassionate to yourself and to others. So instead of saying, I don't care what people think, they can think whatever they want. They could even think negative thoughts about me. But instead of resisting it or perpetuating the negativity, a confident and compassionate response is trying to understand exactly where they're coming from and why they might be thinking this way, whether it's positive or negative. So instead of taking this energy and making it about yourself, it's never really about you. It's about what other people are experiencing. So instead of reflecting any negativity or reflecting anything of the sort, it's really coming from a compassionate place for people who might be suffering.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Leannah, what was your life like before you discovered self-confidence?
Yeah, like what you said about being an Asian woman, and sometimes we're fit into these certain boxes of being quiet and being shy, and and also taking good care of people. So that's why there are a lot of good nannies and nurses around, and Filipinos are known for being in these industries. But I learned a lot about putting people's needs before me and becoming a major people pleaser, and that served me in a way, but it also took a lot of energy from me. It also it made me feel feelings of unworthiness, and I started to undervalue myself at work and in my personal life.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all go through. Being brought up as an Asian woman, we're always programmed to take care of everyone else and put everyone else's needs before us. And that can hurt us because it's we're constantly giving out our energy, and
Right.
It's like a give and take thing, right? What you put out, you also receive back. But we just keep giving, and we don't receive nothing in return. We're going to get tired. We're going to get angry, restless, frustrated because, we're giving our all, and it's like we're not receiving as well, because it's like, as Asian women, it's like it's bad if we receive anything, right?
Right.
So, and it's something we're not used to because we're always so used to giving. So,
Right.
Nobody talks about learning to take care of yourself. Self-care is like a foreign language, right? Nobody teaches that in school.
It's selfish, right?
Yeah, it's selfish, but it's okay to be selfish. And I think people need to remind themselves, like, it's okay to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. And what was that point in your life when you realized you can go out there and be who you are today and have that confidence? Especially, like you mentioned, you worked in Silicon Valley for 10 years and then leaving that for a different career. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, are you insane? You have such a good job. Why would you do that? So what was that aha moment that gave you the confidence to do what you wanted?
Absolutely. I was living the dream that my parents told me to live. I was going down the path. I was making them proud. I was working for these big name companies. I was making over 6 figures and taking all of the steps that Asian parents want you to take. And I realized that I was getting burnt out, living someone else's dream and doing all these things that I felt like I should do, but things that I really didn't want to do, and really not listening to myself. So as soon as I started listening to myself and making myself a priority, things started to shift. Like, I started doing a lot of things alone, which is not very, we don't do that in our culture. Whenever we pick up, a relative from the airport, we've got 3 van loads of people to pick up one person because we're always together. So the idea of eating at a restaurant alone, I thought was pathetic or sad, or, I don't know why, but that's kind of how I was programmed. So I started doing things like that, eating at restaurants alone. I started surfing on my own and hiking and even booking weekend getaways by myself, and started to do a lot of personal development work, like meditating and journaling and reading a lot. And then I moved thousands of miles away to Bali by myself without knowing anybody here. So it's the aha moment was when I started spending time doing things alone that I didn't normally do.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think it's great that you're able to do that, right? And be okay with your own company, because a lot of people feel like it's weird and not cool. And, sometimes you just need that me time. You just need to get to know yourself a little bit more so that you can realize maybe you like doing this, you maybe like doing that. Like before, I used to think going to the movies by yourself was super weird. But then
I still want to do that.
And I've already done it. And I'm thinking, why is this so weird if I go by myself? Because even if I go with someone, it's not like I'm going to talk to them throughout the whole movie. We're there to watch a movie and leave. So, it's just these things that people might think it's weird or uncool or awkward, but it's who cares, right? This is about you. Mm-hmm. And if you feel like watching a movie, then go ahead and do it. Who's going to know you at the movie theater? So, I think that's great. You're able to make yourself a priority, because it's so important to make ourselves a priority. Because if we're not putting ourselves first, then nobody else will. It really does have to start with us. And, figure out what we want, figure out what we'll tolerate, learning to say no to things that we don't even want to do. So I think it's great that you're able to do that. And because of that, what's your life been like now?
Yeah, so I want to say life is perfect, life is amazing, and I still get moments where I don't feel as confident. But the difference now is that if I ever get into those spaces, I know how to get back. Right? I know how to get back to confidence, and it's really going back and spending time alone and resourcing myself. But when I do get into these places of confidence, which is definitely more often now than before, I feel great. I feel like I'm better at work. I'm better for my clients and the people around me. I make better decisions. I'm more patient. I just feel like from this place I can't mess up, and if I ever do, right, I'll know what to do to fix it.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Don't be too hard on yourself. A lot of my clients, and myself included, are high achievers, and we're so hard on ourselves sometimes, and we talk to ourselves in a way that we never let anybody else talk to us. And it's heavy, So just instead of being hard on yourself, try to be more compassionate and more gentle, and don't expect too much. Don't expect more than your best, because your best is all you can do. So just accept where you are now and do your best.
Thanks for sharing those great tips. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do and check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's at Leannah Lumauig. It's my first name, last name, and my website is leannalumauig.com.
Thanks for sharing that. To our listeners, if you want to connect with Leannah, you can also head on over to thetowofselfconfidence.com and search for Leannah's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Leannah today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Leannah.
Thank you so much, Sheena.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetowofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.